there. My name is Renee Brown. And you know, I decided that I have a lot to share, particularly as I reflect over the last 46 years of my life. You know, my 47th birthday is next week. 47. Wow. And I'm back here in my hometown, Detroit, Michigan. And as I reflect on where I started, in fact, life as I knew it 46 years ago, so much has changed. Like I said, as I reflect, I have so much to be thankful for. You know, I was born in 1975. My mother was 15 years old. Her mother had just passed away 3 years prior when she was only 12. So yeah, she was a kid having a kid. And about 6 months after I was born, I was burned. You can see this, I got 3rd-degree burns to my left cheek. And unbeknownst to me, that would change my life in a major way, but absolutely in the best way, believe it or not. I'd later find that out. But anyway, when I got burned, the state of Michigan stepped in and did their investigation, and I was subsequently placed into the care of my great-grandmother. She was 67. And of course, her children thought she was too old to raise a newborn baby. But she couldn't imagine allowing me to go anywhere, certainly not to a foster home or to, you know, a set of people that would likely cause them, my family, to never see me again. So at 67, this strong, wise, loving lady, she stepped up to the plate and said, I'll take custody. It won't be permanent. It wasn't permanent. My mom technically could get me back at whatever point that, you know, she established herself. However, by the time I was 5, you know, I had been with great-grandmother, and I had been sleeping with her, really, I guess, since I was 6 months. So I was pretty attached to her. And while I certainly loved my mother and would visit with my mom, and by that time I had a little sister who's 3 years younger than me, but my home was with great-grandmother, and that's where I wanted to stay. So I keep saying I hate that, but I guess I'm just being quite natural in my communications here and sharing where I come from. I was a dreamer, you know, a kid that saw the whole world in front of me, dreamed that I really could do and become anything. And believe it or not, while great-grandmother was a woman of faith, so much faith, she was a bit like Jesus' sister. Yeah, really. She didn't really believe, though, in my dreams. She thought my dreams were lofty. In fact, she would say things like, stop building air castles. That's a house in the sky with no foundation. And I thought, are you kidding? Air castles? No, my dreams are going to come true. In fact, I guess I didn't realize that being born to a single mother, a single black mother, technically in poverty, then becoming orphaned, in effect, and having this scar on my face, you know, these created labels. I came into the world with labels, right? Poor, black, female, orphaned, all the things that said I could only do but so much in life, or I could only go but so far. Thank God, though, I never realized that those labels were put upon me. So I guess with this scar, you know, I came into the world, I didn't know myself without it. And certainly children would question or maybe even judge me, but I didn't let it bother me. You know, I kind of was a natural born fighter, so as a kid, in grade school, if someone talked about my face or, said something mean, I'd defend myself and I'd say something like, "Your mama." Yeah, I really would say that. But I just knew that there was more for me. And by the time I was 8 years old in 1983, I just remember something inside me saying, one day the world is going to know me for doing great things. But of course, great-grandmother said, stop dreaming, stop building those air castles. And while it hurt, and it was disappointing because she did not, in effect, support me, somehow, some way, I was able to push that to the side and just stay focused on my dreams. So for me at that time, no one had graduated from college in my family, and I was determined to be the first one. And by the time I got ready to go to college, great-grandmother said, well, if that's something you want to do, you better figure it out. And that I did. In fact, before figuring it out, I made a couple poor choices or mistakes. In fact, I got pregnant at 15 years old, like my mom, right? The very thing that I wasn't supposed to do. And I ended up having a miscarriage, which, to be honest, was probably the best thing that happened. Because afterwards, I knew I didn't want a child. I knew that I definitely wanted to stay focused on that dream that came at 8 years old, right? That I wanted to go to college and I wanted to make a difference in the world. And so having a baby at 15 wouldn't quite allow me to do that. So thankfully, I didn't have a baby, and I went on. Although I will say, I did not go on or get to 18 without a few more mistakes. But I will say this, for every mistake that I made or poor choice, for some reason, I never let it hold me back. I just kind of, what they say, you fall down and got back up. And I did. And I guess I did that, what great-grandmother did do, although she didn't necessarily tell me I could do anything or didn't believe that I could do anything, what she did do for me was introduce me to this notion of God by way of Christianity. And it was through Christianity that I learned the three principles that I live by: faith, hope, and love. And so that faith and that hope and that love for life, that became my I guess you would call my wings, right? That's what would allow me to fly. And so by 1993, when I graduated from high school, yeah, I was flying. And I was on my way. That was the beginning.